1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not gonna lie, there is a certain martial elegance in watching someone go through the motions of doing thumb draw shooting or Eastern archery. And surprisingly, this may be something you can learn very easily yourself. There are a small set of skills which are quintessential to Eastern or Asiatic shooting. Things like blind nocking, which is the ability to knock the arrow on the string without looking. Things like shooting with speed, or more specifically with rhythm. Because the end goal of this kind of traditional archery is, of course, war and combat. And this is particularly epitomized in horse archery, where things like speed and rhythm and instinctive shooting are of the most importance. Instead of jumping on a horse and trying to figure out what to do with our hands, we're going to break this down into simple steps so that you can see and understand what goes on behind each step of the shot process. This particular exercise is a 4-step drill. This sequence was taught to me by Ahmed Karat from Mandarin Archery. There may be similar training methods around the world. There may be some variations, and notably, there may be different steps in different styles. Some styles use 3 steps, some styles use 2. This is a 4-step process, so it breaks it down to simpler steps, which I think anybody can acquire and learn. It took me about a day to get this working, so I think if a novice like me in Asiatic shooting can figure this out in a day, I think it's a fairly reliable practice method. And ultimately, if your goal is to do horse archery, this may also give you the foundations for that particular style as well. Now, to be clear, this is only for Eastern style or thumb draw shooting, and I'm assuming that you're already familiar with thumb draw, so the arrow goes on the right side for a right-handed archer, and you shoot with the thumb under the arrow. Step 1 is to feed the arrow into your bow hand and to lead with your bow hand. So feed and lead. To be more specific, I place the arrow point between my index and middle fingers on my bow hand, and gripping this between my fingers, I guide the bow forward and I place my fingers on the nock and find the nock alignment. The key here is that you don't want to haphazardly slap the arrow against the bow and then lose track of where your arrow is when you go through the motions. So think of this like drawing a sword. You have your arrow between your fingers, you draw a sword, and then you're ready for step 2. Step 2 is to slide and nock. In this step, you push the arrow towards the target until it passes the string, and then you nock it onto the string. Like I said earlier, we are doing blind nocking, so we're not looking down to find out where the nock is on the string. We're going to do it by feel. So at the end of the first step, you should already have your fingers aligned with the nock. So when you push forward, you should be able to feel the string and nock it right away. Something else to keep in mind is that when you're about to nock, you don't have to pull back using your string fingers. You can push the arrow onto the string using your bow hand. As a small tip, if you're using a nocking point and you end up too low on the string, you can slide the arrow up before you commence the clench. Step 3 is draw and release. By this point, your index finger should be off the arrow, you should have your clench in position, and basically you draw and you release. Now this is purely instinctive, there is no aiming involved. This is one step, one motion, which means if you don't quite get it right and your execution isn't perfect, it doesn't matter. What you're trying to aim for is to maintain the rhythm of the shot rather than shoot accurately. So draw and release. Step 4 is simply reset. And that simply means that your hands are in position for the next shot. So you have your next arrow ready, you have your bow in position to begin step 1 again. So let's go through the steps again. So step 1 is to feed the arrow and leave the bow hand. Step 2 is to knock and bump on the string. Step 3 is to draw and release. And step 4 is reset. And once you coordinate these motions, you can train by numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a beautiful rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, it's essential that you follow a good rhythm. Speed is not the objective. As you get more fluid and you become more confident, speed will come as a matter of muscle memory and practice. We're not trying to speed shoot, we're just trying to maintain rhythm. If you find yourself going too fast, you'll end up making mistakes, you'll end up fumbling and stumbling, and you'll miss your rhythm. So again, by the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and I missed the string in the last attempt, so these are learning curves, all normal part of learning a process. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, slow down if you have to, but just make sure the steps are solid. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, if you have to slow down, slow down. Just make sure the steps are right, and you'll get there with practice. You're not trying to be precise, you're just going through the rhythm. Execution can be a little erratic, but that will come with practice. So 3 and 4. Just another demonstration from the rear. Again, blank target, I'm not really aiming. This is purely instinctive. I'm just going to go through the rhythm and make sure we go through it as accurately as possible. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slight miss there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, whoops. Again, reset. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, whoa, missed that string there. See, when you go too fast, you make mistakes, but that's part of the fun of learning this, okay? Let's finish our dozen. We got 3 more arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, as you go more and more, you get fatigued, get tired, so don't expect perfection. But not too bad for snap shooting. Once you've gained the confidence in following the 4 steps, you can begin to incorporate movement. So we're going to do a stationary drill. We're going to face the target, and we're going to pace 4 steps in 4 quadrants around us. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Back to the start, hence the reset. Now, if you're not yet confident going through the whole shooting motion, you can mimic the motion instead and get used to the timing. So remember the basic steps. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And practice again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just go through the motions without shooting if you don't yet feel confident to draw and loose. So that's our 4-step drill. So once you're ready, go by numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, it's not about speed. You go too quickly, you get a little dizzy. Let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you're comfortable with that, you have the skills to shoot while walking. It's the same 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, if you don't want to shoot while going through the motions, just drop the arrow and practice till you get it right. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Something to keep in mind when walking while shooting is that your movement is very much similar to many martial arts stances. So if you're walking forward, you must lead with your front foot. If you're walking backwards, you lead with your rear foot. So the first step when you are drawing the arrow from the quiver, if you're going forward, it's front foot first. So step 1 is front foot. If you're going backwards, it's reverse. So 1. So once more of the steps, leading with the front foot, walking forward and without shooting. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now with shooting, so we go through the steps slowly. So step 1, front foot. Step 2, knock. Step 3, draw and shoot. And step 4, reset. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that we're here, let's go through stepping backwards. Remember, when you step backwards, you lead with your rear foot. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got limited space here, so I'll go back forward. Good practice. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Whoops. Remember, if you make a mistake, you can reset. Let's try the draw again. We'll do 3 forward and 3 back. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little rusty there. Let's try again from the start. So 3 forward, 3 back. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little broken rhythm. It's all right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, once you get smooth, you can walk more naturally. Your first few times will be kind of stomping like a giant, but once you get used to it, you can walk more fluidly and shoot more fluidly. It takes time, it takes practice. So one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And no reason why you have to walk in straight lines. So let's try sideways diagonal. So those stances. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, sideways. 1, 2, 3, 4. And back the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, reverse 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the 4-step drill. Like I said, it's about rhythm, not speed. If you want to speed shoot, there are other methods and you have to get them down to have a lot of fluid muscle memory. But this is a very reliable way to teach someone how to go through the motions of nocking, drawing, shooting repeatedly. So what comes next? Well, the natural progression would be to make this work on a horse. That means practicing the same 4 steps in a more jumpy manner, quite literally. So one of the drills is to jump. So you start from here, you go, it's 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4, and so on. So I haven't really done that yet, but it's something which you can work towards. And naturally, once you're on a horse, it's the same kind of rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so on. So that's the more advanced stuff which we won't cover today. Yeah, that's the 4-step drill. It's a method to teach people how to get used to shooting with good rhythm with thumb draw. I'm not saying it's the best or the fastest method, but I found it to be quite a reliable method. Again, coming from me, I'm a fairly big novice in Ottoman archery, and having learned this in about 1 day, I think it works. So I hope that I've given this enough detail. I hope I've done Archimed from Mandarin Archery enough justice in sharing this. I find it exceptionally fun to go through. I've been doing this all day. It makes it a lot of fun to be more dynamic, both in terms of practicing the skill as well as moving around. And hopefully if you're trying this yourself, you can have a strong foundation in having these skills and working forward with your archery journey. Anyway, I'm NUSensei. Hope you found this interesting and helpful. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.